So, what do you think about bullying?
Bullying exists obviously in schools, but it exists in many relationships in subtle ways. And generally, a bully predates on weakness, it predates on fear of its own self. So, if you're being bullied by a person, it's obviously an unfortunate thing, and many people develop deep insecurities because of it. They internalize weakness, they internalize resentment, shame, and so forth, and then they can often act it out in very negative ways. But the way to deal with a bully, there are three ways, one of which is good, two of which are bad. One is to cower. This is the worst. It's fear based. It accepts the framework that the bully has set, and it reinforces the pattern. The second is being neutral and firm. This is the best one. It negates fear, but it does not make you overconfident and then aggressive, which is the third one. This is weakness masquerading as fear, and it can cause a conflict or a fight, and it doesn't necessarily fix the situation either. In order to get rid of a bully, you need to be neutral and firm in your own self. That is the true form of standing up. It's not about being overly aggressive. Every bullying interaction, in most cases, is an emotional thing. Sometimes they get things out of you. It could be money, or it could be social status, or something, by making you feel bad or weak. To eliminate that pattern, you have to come from a standpoint of firm neutrality and look at them eye to eye, keep the eye contact, and speak to them whatever you need to speak to them. I don't appreciate that you're doing this. I don't like the way it makes me feel. You have to stop. There. That's a lot more powerful than saying yes, yes, okay, okay, and looking weak. It's also better than being like, stop right now. You have to stop. This is not right. That furthers the conflict pattern in another way. So that's generally the way to handle bullying. And this neutral, firm path is the strongest path, because it's neither you trying to beat the situation, nor is it you succumbing to the situation. It's you rising above by finding the middle. There's a lot to be said about finding the middle in a lot of things. The middle between pain and pleasure. People try to achieve personal or spiritual development by putting themselves through intense pain, because they believe the body is the source of all of their misery. So then they try to overcome the body by moving past their senses by putting themselves in pain. But it's been discovered time and time again that doesn't work. And the other path is the hedonism path, which is indulging in pleasure over and over. The issue with that is that pleasure reduces, reduces, reduces. You need more and more and more to get the same thing. And it takes you away from the framework, which is the right framework of being able to work extremely hard, go through pain when you need to, then when the work is done, to relax. That's a balanced, effective middle way between the two. It's sustainable. It gives you the rewards of the hard work. And that when you do indulge in pleasurable things, they really feel good, because you've gone through some pain, and you're at an elevated standpoint because you've done the virtuous work of hard work and good work. So, going back to bullying, uh, it, it it harkens back to a principle that is beyond bullying. Actually, it's rising above by meeting the challenge head on, rather than trying to avoid it by being weak, and rather than trying to beat it directly. They say hate can't drive out hate, only love can do that. That's a true thing. But to be neutral and firm, it's not necessarily loving, but it is respectful. It's respectful to yourself, and it's respectful to the person on the other end. And you can't trust completely that it's going to work, but you have to take a risk. Take a little bit of a risk, try it, do it, and then watch as that person themselves realizes within themselves, I don't need to do this. A person bullies because they have something going on inside, and they need to make themselves feel good by making someone else feel bad. And that's not the way. That is not a true good feeling. A true good feeling, when you're beyond all the bullying, is I'm happy if you're happy. And if you're happy, and you're happy when I'm happy. That way people can work together, even in the form of competition. Like take Federer and Nadal. Tennis players. Federer says, there's no bigger fan of Rafa Nadal than me. And Nadal's beaten him so many times, and he's beaten him many times too. They're the best rivals in tennis, but they respect each other a lot. The better one gets, the better the other one gets. Nadal says, because of Federer, I am who I am. Federer said, because of Nadal, I am who I am. I was so motivated because he kept beating me. Nobody else made me think as much as Nadal. And another rival, Leighton Hewitt, that he had early on in his career. So doing your best in a respectful and fair way in any situation is the way to rise above it, meet it, make someone else better, without there being other byproduct negative consequences such as resentment, fear, anger, hatred, enmity, and all that. And I think all relationships can heal taking this approach.